management, our beloved teachers, and of course you, dear parents, who have been with us throughout all these years.
75 years ago, a great visionary and our beloved founder, Sri Lakshmi Nivas Birla, established an institution in Kolkata which would combine Western education with Indian culture and values. It is now 75 years since 1941 and Birla High School stands tall as one of the best schools in the city.
It is now with great pleasure that I invite Ms. Rita Bibra, Secretary General, Vidya Mandir Society, to kindly come up and address the gathering.
Good evening, friends. 75th year. Yes, it is a huge goal that we have reached. I don't know whether we meant to reach it, but we are at the right time, at the right place to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of this great school. It gives me great pleasure to welcome our chief guest today, Ms. Alokananda Roy, dancers, social activist, educationist, who, you name it, she's done it. And we are indeed delighted to have her with us and hope that we can show her a little bit of the talent that our boys have in them. Academically, as you are all aware, the school has always had excellent results, never a second division, good averages. All our students find good placements in foreign university. I have in front of me Dr. and Mrs. Shah, whose two boys did so brilliantly well, and one of them is in the States now, doing all kinds of things, I don't know what. If I have to read his CV, we'll spend the whole evening here. Very dynamic, beautiful boys, both of them. The other one, I think, is studying his doctorate. Now, our school, as the children have already informed you, was started earlier in a small house before the war, and then after the war we moved to these premises in 1941, which is the logistically appropriate school year that we count ourselves as the beginning of our school. When I hear about the school numbers from the alumni members, I think the maximum number in the time in the early 60s or 70s was 250 students in the school. Presently, we number 2,800 students. And it's a great, great development. Earlier students, they come home for their homecoming every year in January when we have the alumni function, and they are amazed and they rave about the development that has taken place in the school, thanks to our present chairman, Mr. Sudarshan Birla, who takes such a keen interest to see that everything is of international standard. So some of them, of course, who have just passed out, they say, well, why wasn't the school like this when we were here? Well, that's change and that's progress. The school was started by Sri Lakshmi Nivas Birla ji. He was also very, very interested in philanthropy. Education was his passion. He was very interested in gardening. He wrote several books. And he wanted our education for the children, being of that part of the time when there was so much conflict between the West and the East. He wanted that the education should be a blend of East and West, scientific temper with Eastern value system. I'm proud to say that we have still maintained the value systems that we had promised to keep up in the school. And this is something we are very passionate about. The way the Indian thinking, the Indian art, the Indian culture, the Indian dance form, the Indian music received a lot of attention in our school. So the school, as those of you, the parents who have their children studying with us, I'm sure you have witnessed that even from the time you put your child in the nursery or KG class until the time the boy reaches his board classes, there is a lot of change and a lot of development in our children, to which the entire credit goes to the teaching staff. The teaching faculty are always the backbone of a good institute, and I compliment my principal, who is the driving force behind this whole Birla High School. She doesn't rest till she gets it right, which is a good thing, because we all feel the same way, don't we, team? And I'm sure that the parents' cooperation, the parents' consideration of all the logistics in the school. We are situated in the heart of the city. So the logistics is a bit of a problem at this first time entering the school. And of course, the constant pain for new parents is that we do not have a ground large enough like the other new schools blooming all over the countryside. But hey, life doesn't give you everything. Kisi ko zameen, kisi ko asmaan nahi milta. So we are doing our best to make up for it, because I think athletically also our boys are doing very well. And we have introduced a whole lot of clubs, games, indoor sports, outdoor games, and children are receiving credit and recognition for all the participation in these various activities. And what can I say? The rest is all known to the entire assembly over here, and I'm sure with your cooperation and with your help, we'll go further and further as days go by. We'll